Bonjour and welcome or welcome back to my channel, Claude here. So today I'm going to be doing a tag called Deck Crush. This was made in collaboration by four YouTubers. So we have Lisa Papes, Don Michel Tarot, Marlene Theresa and Danny Mystic. So they've done that collab and they've come up with, I think it's 8 prompts, kind of Valentine's Day themed, which I thought was really cool. And so it's the decks we have a thing for. So the first prompt, so I want to thank them first, okay, for doing that. It's great fun. I love it when people come up with really nice hashtags, and I'm very excited, so thank you. The first one is the Fling, a deck with which you had a short period of wild times. Okay, so for me it's the Tarot of the Divine. So it's a beautiful deck and it has something which is linen cardstock, and I have a thing for linen cardstock. I don't know if my camera's picking it up, but I love anything that's got linen cardstock. So already, you know, there was a big temptation there for me with the Fling thing. And I love the concept of it. So let me just zoom in a little bit, because it's basically it's based on different legends and lore. So it's really cool, and I got obsessed with this deck, and I mean seriously obsessed. You can see here the Egyptian symbolism here. So it's completely different. You don't get the same legends going on, obviously. As you can see here, this is more oriental. And yeah, I just got completely, I dove into that deck, was obsessed with it, and for a period of time I was just reading with this all the time. And you know, I've journaled, I've done lots and lots of things with it, and then for some reason I just kind of just thought, yeah, it's cool, but not anymore. So I'm keeping it because I know I will come back to it at some point. I love the Arabian theme there on this card. This is more Greek, you see, so I know I'll get back to it, but yeah, it was my Fling. I mean, it was beyond ridiculous just how obsessed I was with this deck. So that was my first one, the Fling. But as I said, it's not going anywhere. I'm sure I'll get back to it at some point. Oh, sorry, I'm very, very clumsy. The second one is Puppy Love, a deck with which you were infatuated but could not make a long-term commitment to. Now for me it's the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot deck by Matt Hughes. Now it's gorgeous. You can see it's got all of that metallic on the box, the same for the cards. Now when I saw it, I thought to myself, oh, look at that, look at the beautiful backs, and I just love the artwork. I thought it was very dreamy. I love the fact that it had that gold, sorry, the gold, you know, that you could really, I hope my video is catching it. So yeah, I looked at that and thought, oh, I really love this. It's much prettier than the Rider-Waite-Smith. If you've watched any of my VRs, you'll know I think the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is ugly. Sorry, don't get upset, but you know, it's just not my type of artwork. So I thought that would be such a nice alternative for me, because I preferred the type of artwork, and I love the color palette as well. It was less garish. I'm not into garish colors, so I thought, oh, I love those pastels and it will work for me. But for some reason, when I read with it, it's just not doing it for me anymore. You know, I really wanted it to work. I tried to commit to it, like you do, you know, with Puppy Love. You know, it's not quite right for you. You know, you've outgrown it, and yeah, I just have to let it go. But it will stay in my toolbox, because I know that sometimes when I read for people, there are actually many people like this type of artwork, and they ask me to read with this, so I keep it for that reason. But that is really, yeah, the deck I wanted to commit to, but kind of didn't manage to. So that's that. So let me put it away, because otherwise it's going to look messy. So then the third one is Friends with Benefits, a deck you care about but sometimes get extremely passionate for. Okay, so I've got two for that. My first one is the Tarot Sirène. So this is a Tarot de Marseille. I love Tarot de Marseille, so no surprise there. If you've been on my channel, you'll know. And this, to me, screams summer. So when the weather starts picking up, I become obsessed with it and very passionate about it. So you can see it's typical Marseille, but it's got that sea theme. For instance, you see the little fish in the swords. And so yeah, I go through bouts of being passionate and really into this deck, and then not so much. So you see, for instance, here, that's the Emperor. But yeah, it's to do with the seasons, really. You know, when the weather starts warming up, I know I'm just going to be all over this deck again. So it's a friend with benefits, you know, and I care about it. I would not get rid of it. I just know that I go, you know, up and down with how passionate I feel about this deck. But yeah, I think it's very pretty. It's also smaller, which means I can take it with me in a handbag. You know, it's nice and easy to shuffle. Really, really nice deck. And the back is gorgeous. I mean, look at that. That's gorgeous. The second deck for this is my Audience Playbook. I've featured it in a couple of other VRs because I really love it. It's by Danielle Norman. And the reason why it's Friends with Benefits, I mean, look at those backs, they're gorgeous, is because this is a deck, and look at the matte edge. This is a deck that comes with a double use. She's put runes on each card, if you see here, to add to the meaning of each card. So I think that's really, really cool. And so there are times where I get back into my rune practice and I really get into runes, and that's all I think about, and I'm always, you know, casting them. And so this deck then becomes a favorite of mine at that moment in time, if that makes sense. So you see, you've got the Two of Staves, so the Two of Wands with the rune at the bottom. So this deck I get really, really passionate about when I get back into my runic practice. So, you know, I never force anything. So this is something when I don't feel like pulling or casting runes, I just don't, right? But when I start, I have a tendency to obsess over them. So then I just want to read with this deck because I can see the runes and it helps give some kind of new meaning. So I really, really like that. And it is a stunning deck. It's so nice. I love this world, the world that she created. I think she's done a stunning job. It really is one of my my top decks. So there you go, the Ace of Wands. So that is my second Friends with Benefits. Aren't I lucky? Hey, I've got two. So there's this one. So the next prompt is Love at First Sight, a deck you loved from the start. Now this is going to be the Tarot of the Everlasting Day. Backed it on Kickstarter in October. It exploded its goals, you know, lots of things got unlocked. Comes in a tin box. It's fantastic quality, and what I love about it is that you have the Rider-Waite-Smith inspired pip, miners, sorry, but you also have pips. That's why I said pip. These are the pips, I'm going to show them to you. So you've got a full deck. It comes with extra cards as well. It comes with lots of things, but you have a full deck. It's done with AI design, so obviously, you know, you either like or you don't like the style. I mean, then, you know, that's really a question of taste, really. So that's to give you an idea of the majors. But I'm going to show you what happens with the minors. So you have the 10 of Pentacles, and then you have the 10 coins, which is the Tarot de Marseille equivalent I've tried to put them back in the order to show you, because otherwise it defies the whole point, but 9 of Pentacles and the 9 coins. So you see what I'm saying? It's really, really cool. 8 of Pentacles, 8 coins, the 7 of Pentacles, and the 7 coins, 6 of Pentacles. So I love the fact that you can either use the Rider-Waite-Smith version of them, or you can just use the pips. Now, I personally really, really like the pips, so I'm someone who's going to probably use the pips more than I would use the scenic. But I love having the choice. I like it when I'm given a choice. So I'm going to show you just briefly maybe the court cards for the Pentacles, so you can see. So you have the King of Pentacles, the Queen, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Page. It is a stunning deck. I love the versatility. The cardstock is amazing. They are smooth, buttery. They shuffle like a dream. You know, it really is. It's a deck that I'm going to be using a lot. Well, I already have anyway, but point being, when I saw this, I saw that there was a deck that came with the scenic minors and the pips. I was all in, absolutely all in. So there you go. That was the Tarot of the Everlasting Day by Marcus Katz. Then prompt number 5 is a one-night stand. So a deck you tried out but moved on from almost immediately. Sometimes you still think about that deck. That would be for me the Lorenzi Tarot. I have reviewed it, I think it was at the beginning of January or mid-January, can't remember. I will drop you a link in the description box below if you want to check it out, and I'll put you a card right here, but sometimes YouTube doesn't show it. So, but yeah, it's a stunning, very original type of artwork, Italian artwork, and I loved it. I thought, yeah, so I worked with it and I did not gel with it. I was so disappointed. I was trying so badly to like this deck, but the meanings given in the guidebook did not match the standard, you know, accepted meaning kind of thing. So that all of the symbolism was off for me. I could not identify it. I just couldn't. I tried, but I couldn't. So it's already found a new home. That's why I can't show it to you, but there will be a link in the description box below if you want to have a look at that. That was the Lorenzi Tarot. The 6th prompt is we were on a break. So a deck you separated from for any reason. And that was an oracle deck. It was the Fairies Oracle from Brian Froud. Now, as you can tell, I've got it back. So this is an oracle that I've acquired very earlier on, when I was much younger. And when I moved to the States, I had to decide what I'm taking with me and what I'm not, because it cost a fortune to ship your things. And this is a big box, as you can tell. It's a big box, and I was like, well, you don't use it that much, so, you know, it's got a hardcover book. It's stunning. It's really beautiful. And I thought, well, you know, you don't use it that much. Never mind, don't take it with you. So I rehomed it. And then I saw a YouTuber using it, and that was it. I was like, I have to have it. So it's an oracle, as I said. Oops, it's backwards, and this is what it looks like. It's all to do with fairies, and I love the artwork. It's a very cheeky oracle. It can be very cheeky in its messages, and so I bought it again, and I don't regret buying it again. I shouldn't have rehomed it. I should have just, you know, taken it with me. But as I said, I had to be so ruthless. Same thing when I got back to the UK 6 months ago. I had to leave a few things behind, and it's never easy. I mean, it's good. It's a cleansing process, but so yeah. There's this one. So that was my we were on a break. So let me put it back. So we have 2 more prompts. We have prompt number 7. This is the Marriage Material, a deck that has proven its value to you. Okay, so the marriage material for me is the Tarot of Light and Shadow by John Matthews and Andrea Asti. So John Matthews, obviously, you know, prolific author in the UK, in the tarot world. Andrea Asti is an amazing Italian artist, you know, is into multimedia, and he had a deck on Kickstarter, and John Matthews wrote up all of the descriptions and meanings of the cards, and that was back in, I think it passed in August. Yes, it was in August, and I've backed it. Amazing deck. I'll be talking about that later, but I've just received it. So this one is how I got introduced to Andrea's artwork, and obviously I knew John Matthews, and also his partner Kathleen, or Kathleen, I think she wants to, it's supposed to be pronounced Kathleen, not Kathleen, but Kathleen Matthews. I've actually reviewed a book that she wrote. It's called Untold Tarot, where she goes through all of the ways of reading the old decks, such as the Tarot de Marseille and so on. And oh, that book is amazing, and I've learned so many tips and extra techniques, and I'll drop you a link in the description box below if you want to check it out. It's a really cool book. So what I love about this deck, and the reason why it's marriage material for me, is because I have used it a lot. Not on my channel, but I have, for me. It's basically two decks. So you get the light one, and I have put it back in order so you could see what's going on with this. And then you've got the dark one. So the backs are identical because you can shuffle them together. Now I hear what you're saying, it's going to be huge. Yeah, but you mix it and then you just split it in two and then shuffle it like that. Anyway, this is a stunning deck because basically this is the standard deck, and this is the shadow side of it, what's underlying that you may not be aware of, and it's really cool. So for instance, most of the pictures get reversed, but there's some add-ons. So you can see here you've got some birds, here you've got some bats. And I've had such powerful readings with that. The things you can do when you have the light and the shadow, it's just absolutely amazing. It has been worth way more than what I paid for. I am always using it. It really is, this is very dear to me. And yeah, when there's something that I don't understand, and you know, the reading is not clear because probably I'm lying to myself, you know. I grab the shadow deck, and it always, without fail, sheds some lights. So I'm going to go to the pips, because this is a pip deck, so I'm just going to go quickly, because otherwise, you know, I'm going to bore you, not what I want to do. See death here. But yes, it's a pip deck. The pentacles have been called serpent. That's the only thing that changes, I believe. But yeah, so to give you an idea, so you've got the Ace of Swords, and then the Two of Swords, for instance. You can see how this is a shadow because they're crossed, and this one is not the same. And then the Three Swords. So you see, right? So this is yeah, this is the marriage material really for me. I absolutely love reading with this. I need to get it some precious little pouches because I don't want to keep it in the box like that. It really deserves its own pouches, if you ask me. So that was the Tarot of Light and Shadow. And then finally, the Happily Ever After, Your True Love in a Deck. If you've watched any of my VRs before, or if you've watched my readings, you're not going to be surprised by that. This is my one, JJ Swiss, by Vincent Petici. I love Tarot de Marseille style decks, just generally speaking. This is where I feel at home. That's why I love pip decks, just generally speaking. But this is, like the Tarot of the Divine, this is a linen cardstock, and it looks aged. I think it's exquisite. I love how it shuffles. It's, you know, it's my true love. And the artwork, it's interesting because in France we play tarot as a game, and it's got 78 cards like the ones you use for divination, but I don't know if you're aware of that, but the mages, they have everyday life scenes instead of, you know, our standard mages, what we're accustomed to. But the artwork is that style. So every time I've got this in my hands, it feels familiar, because, well, it reminds me of family gatherings where I used to play tarot with my cousins, my uncles, and my grandparents, basically. So yeah, because of its texture, because of the way it looks, because of what I've just explained, that's my true love in a deck. You see, and it looks very much like that, the game we play in France. There's a line in the middle and there's scenes drawn. It's really, really, it's cool. So yeah, I love this. And there you go. I had to mention it. I know I mention it in every single VR, but I think it's worth a mention, and this is where my heart is, really. So there you have it. I really enjoyed doing this VR, so thank you again for doing this for us. I've put the link in the description box below of the original videos of the creators of this tag if you want to check it out. Wherever you are in this world and whenever you are watching this, I wish you a truly magical time. Until next time, au revoir.